Welcome back to the channel. Well, the modern Pokemon card market, hey, some people have been saying that it's been going absolutely crazy, which has been proven by many main sealed product sets and also many singles. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's been a few sealed products and singles that have not been doing so great at all. So in today's video, we're going to go over some of the hot cards and some of the not so hot cards, and also some of the hot sealed products and not so sealed products. Before we jump into it though, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That would mean a lot. If you want to become a channel member, it's nice and easy. Just join from the homepage. It's a very cheap monthly subscription. It gives you a little, of course, icon against your name, and then you can ask me any Pokemon card investing related question via email. Just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you in a very timely manner. So, on to the format at hand, hot and not for today's video. What's hot so far this year? I'm really going to mostly look at the last 3 months, but some of these examples will push out over the last 12 months. Well, let's get the obvious out of the way, which is a few Evolving Skies cards. Obviously, the booster box has been going absolutely bonkers, and the singles inside the set have also been going absolutely bonkers. None more so than, of course, the main chase card, the modern Charizard, base set Charizard, some people call it, of course, that beautiful card, the Umbreon VMAX. Just 3 months ago, this card was $550 and it's now $750, and that's in a 3-month time period. Look, Evolving Skies, the sealed product generally goes hand in hand with the singles. If supply runs out and the set's about to push out a rotation, it's sold out on TCG Player, it's sold out of all big box retailers. It's in the hands of the secondary market. Now, the secondary market controls the price of the product. Generally, the two will go hand in hand. We'll see an increase in the sealed product, so the booster box and the ETB, more so the booster box though, and then we'll see an increase in some of the main hits inside the set, like of course the Umbreon VMAX, and this one, which has been shrouded in a little bit of controversy the last probably month or so, the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies, which is shot from $85 to $185 in a 3-month period. There's been a lot of opinions and talk around this card and the reason for its increase in price. I don't really want to pass my opinion on it so much around everything that's been said about this card, but is it undervalued? Or should I say, was it undervalued 3 months ago? You could probably argue it slightly was a little bit. Is it a $185 US dollar card raw? Possibly not. But was it undervalued at $85 US? Yeah, quite possibly. In my opinion, probably definitely. I mean, look at the artwork on it. Umbreon is such a fan favorite Pokemon. It doesn't deserve, of course, the accolades that the VMAX gets, because it's not as hard to pull and probably the artwork isn't as nice, but it's a beautiful card. And I think at 85 it was undervalued. I don't know if it's a $185 card, but hey, the market that's driving the price. Whether you think it's been manipulated and pushed up, or whether you think content creators have had a little bit to play with that, I'll leave that in your hands. The next one I wanted to show you was Dragonite Alt Art from Evolving Skies. This is a beautiful card. This is one of my favorite cards. The top 3 favorite cards, as well as the Rayquaza V alternate art. But this Dragonite V alternate art is stunning. In the last 3 months, it's gone from $95 US to $150 US. That card is pumping, isn't it? Like a lot of Evolving Skies singles. So there's an example of some cards that are really hot at the moment. I wanted to jump on and show you a couple that are not, and we're gonna cycle back through. But a couple that are not is this one, and I'm shocking at pronouncing it. Is it Goldango from Paradox Rift? I know it's not a massive dip, but $35 down to $26 in the last 3 months. That card's slipping a little bit, isn't it? And this is what you'll traditionally find, and I've said this so many times, and it just seems like history just keeps on repeating itself. And it has as well with those Evolving Skies singles. Obviously, when cards come out of the gate, they're going to hold a premium because people have just got their hands on the newest set. It's hyped up. They're just opening product, and singles will be at an all-time high. And then after about a 3-month period or a 6-month period, or in some cases an 18-month period, that card could reach the bottom of its market. And all of a sudden it floors out or bottoms out. And then all of a sudden we start seeing this uptick again. And that's what's happening at the moment with a lot of Sword and Shield alt arts. They've had their time in the sun. They've gone down. Some have already trended back up. And some have really started to trend back up in that last 3 to 6 months. But here's an example of a set when a set just comes out, you get I wouldn't call it a beautiful card, but a nice illustration rare card, gone from $35 due to demand for the set when it first came out, down to $26 because more supply, of course, gets open and more supply of this card hits the market. Another one in the same vein, same trend, exact same scenario is the Charizard from Paldean Fates. This has gone from 180 at launch down to 112 in the last 3 months. That card's taken a massive dip. It's so much nicer, in my opinion, than Obsidian Flames Charizard. You might have a different opinion, but that's definitely mine. I think this is quite a nice looking Charizard, actually. If I were to score it out of 10, I'd probably give this an 8, whereas I'd probably give the Obsidian Flames ones a 6 or a 6.5. That's just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs. This is a nicer card, and it should therefore hold a slightly higher value. The pull rates also seem a little bit more difficult, or a fair bit more difficult on this Charizard compared to Obsidian Flames Charizard, but nonetheless, that rule still applies. As more supply of Paldean Fates gets open and attention turns to new sets, this single dip in price, as we've seen, 180 to 112 isn't a small dip. That's a pretty big dip. Another one that's happened, of course, is the card in question I was just talking about, which is Obsidian Flames Charizard. What's that gone from? That thing's really dipped, hasn't it? Over the year, it come out of the gate so hot, and now it's just drastically dipped. What is it, a $40, $50 card now? Another one for Obsidian Flames I want to touch on really quickly is the Pidgeot EX. And same thing, over the last 12 months that I've shown this one, it's gone from $25 to $11. Man, Obsidian Flames does not have many chase cards inside it, doesn't it? I know we're an investing channel, so just to touch on that, the video I did on Sunday, which was around, top 5 hits inside a set, stack them up with Obsidian Flames, and the value you're getting is not very high at all, meaning I don't think this set's going to be very investable in the long run, unless it gets horribly short printed. There's just not enough big hits or chase cards or depth of chase cards inside this set to keep it ticking along and move it up in price anytime soon. Back onto some hot takes. Celebi V from Fusion Strike, and I'm going to talk about that and the booster box as well. So $25 3 months ago, up to $43 now. I think that card was criminally underpriced. It is one hell of an artwork. Geez, that's a nice looking card. I think I put it into about a video maybe 6 months ago about alternate art cards that are extremely undervalued, and that was definitely one of them that I chose. I think it's a beautiful artwork, and it's been undervalued for a while and deserves the accolades it gets. Similar to Evolving Skies though, Fusion Strike, of course, sold out in Pokemon Center, about to go out of rotation. Box price has been going up, so we'll see the same with the singles inside there, because people are worried there's no more supply of this. What's there is there. If you buy it, you buy it. If not, you're missing out. So Fusion Strike, on the train of Fusion Strike, though, the booster box has gone from $145 to $245 in 3 months. That thing has just shot up like a rocket, hasn't it? And deserves all the accolades it's getting at the moment. I've always liked that set. There's a few people probably jumping on the train now of the set, when before maybe they said, it's going to hover around that 90 to 100 US dollars for ages, and all of a sudden it's just gone bang. Another one I wanted to touch on that's gone bang before we jump into 2 sealed products that haven't performed all that well is Lost Origin booster box. Of course, the big news, sold out on Pokemon Center. Will it get a small restock and come back online for a little while like Astral has? Quite possibly. But, when it's selling out on Pokemon Center, it means it's towards the end. It's a bit of a controversial one, this one, isn't it? Because you could put the hat on and say, super popular set, there's heaps of people buying it up, opening it, and therefore it's sold out. Or you could put the hat on to go, well, of course it's going to sell out if a bunch of, sealed Pokemon investors just keep buying case by case by case every paycheck they get. Of course it's going to sell out, but all that product's being moved from Pokemon centers to private collectors' hands. Of course, there's 2 arguments there. Maybe it sits somewhere in the middle if you're going to take a nuanced approach that, some people are buying it to open it and other people are buying it to keep it sealed. Either way, of course, supply is getting shorter, and when it's out of the hands of big box retailers and into the hands of private collectors, we get one thing, which is an uptick in price, which we've seen in Lost Origin recently from, 140-ish to about 180-ish. So it's, and that is underpriced. That 180 won't hang around for long. Especially now that it's sold out. I wouldn't be surprised if this ticks up to 250 in no time, especially before the end of the year. And the last 2 I want to touch on, these are sealed products that haven't performed Well, one not as well as I thought, and one not great at all to highlight a point when it comes to elite trainer boxes. So the first one I want to touch on is the Charizard UPC. I did make a comment probably, again, about 6 months ago that we will just see a steady incline with the Charizard UPC. And points sort of been proven, hasn't it? It's gone from, what, $94 to $113 in the last year. It's just plodding along, isn't it? And it will. I think it will for a little bit longer. It'll just plod along. Before we know it, it'll be $150, and then before we know it, it'll be $200. The packs inside there are too good. The promos inside there are too good. It's going to be a great streaming product in the future for a lot of YouTube channels, isn't it? I mean, pretty cool video, isn't it? Hey, you know, we've got the best sets from Sword and Shield, which was one hell of an era, and we've got 5 Charizard UPCs to open up today, which means, you know, we're going to be opening 10 Evolving Skies booster packs, 15 Lost Origin booster packs. You get Brilliant Stars booster packs. You get my point. It's going to be a bit of a focal point in the future for streamers to open up the best of Sword and Shield era, plus check out the Charizard promos and move them on to fans and buy it. Good product to open in the future. Last one I wanted to talk about, though, is Silver Tempest ETB. Not. This thing has dropped $39 down to $29 in the last 3 months or 12 months, whatever it's been. But the values aren't really important on this. The point I want to touch on, because again it is an investing channel, is just how mass printed modern elite trainer boxes are. And, you know, will they go up eventually in the future? Well, quite possibly. You know, the argument can be made, oh, well, you know, a lot of, you know, XY elite trainer boxes sat on the shelves for ages and didn't move, and eventually went bang in price, you know, around the 2020, 2021 mark, which of course they did. We're not disputing that point. The point we're disputing is those were printed a whole lot less back then. So we can say, oh, they sat on shelves for ages and didn't move, and now look at them. You know, you've got to pay $1,000 a elite trainer box for some of those. Sword and Shield era, though, the elite trainer boxes are coming out in multiple waves and so mass printed. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to see the movement on modern main set Sword and Shield elite trainer boxes. Like, we will. They'll go up in price eventually, of course. Older, rarer, scarcer, you know the saying, but they're just too mass printed to make massive gains like we've seen from, you know, Sun and Moon elite trainer boxes and XY elite trainer boxes, of course. So from an investing standpoint, elite trainer boxes just aren't a great move at the moment. If you can invest in something, go booster boxes. Elite trainer boxes make a great display piece and collection piece, sealed collection piece. So if you want them, of course, grab them for that. Well, that's a bit of a wrap up. Hey, what's hot and what's not? The modern market's been going crazy. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I'm Michael, this is Pokey Oz, and I'll catch everyone next time.